Hello. Right, I've given myself a weirdly short amount of time to do some hand, wrist, forearm, shouldery strengtheners. Some of my most used exercises myself. I also use these quite regularly with some of my clients, but for my training, these are crucial. Because I do arm balancing, if you are experiencing a flare-up of any condition, injury, tendonitis, arthritis in your joints, this is not the time to do this. You do this when you are feeling well and strong and healthy, and you build the strength to try and mediate the times when you have your flare-ups or to recover more quickly from injuries, right? So this is, although I say I use these a lot for arm balances, that's a demonstration of how good they are. There are lots and lots of different exercises online. These are the ones that I like and work for me. Lots of sensation involved. They're very strong, some of them. You don't need to be arm balancing to do them. In fact, you shouldn't do these just because you're weight bearing through your hands. You should be doing them because, especially if you're a woman over 30, doubly especially, your hormones tend to mess with your bone density. And the sooner you start working on strong, mobile joints, ligaments, tendons, muscles, bone density, the more resilient you will be to those changes as time goes on, the more adaptable you will be to your practices. You've already created some good habits. So we're going to do some of my favorites here, and then I might do a second recording with some other stuff. So have a sit. I gotta have my little timer for this. So I'm going to find a comfortable seat. I always take this opportunity to do some light core strengthening because that's the kind of person I am. So find a comfortable seat, sit on a cushion or a block if you're sitting freely, or with your back lightly against a wall, or on a chair. Do not sit cross-legged on the floor going, oh yeah, I can do that, and then slouch, because this is not good for your core. You need to be sitting tall and straight, tucked in. This is very, very hard, unless you have these fabulous open hips, which I do have a couple of clients who do. So once you're sat, if you're wanting to do it this way, just start to draw in the muscles all the way around your abdomen, from the base of your ribs to your hips. Don't firm them up. Hug from the inside, deep, deep core hugging, internal hug. So you might not notice any difference on the outside of your body, but the inside of your body is lightly hugged in. Draw up your pelvic floor just a tiny bit if you're doing it this way. If not, just sit up straight. Shoulders roll back and down, and just start by doing some open hand, free wrist movements. I did these for years. Do like 3 in one direction, 3 the other direction. Just keep switching directions. Keep your hands open and be as flamboyant as you want. You can really go for it if you want. Have a bit of fun, stick some tunes on, whatever. I did these for years in my chair yoga classes. We used to spend plenty of time on hands and wrists, different types of wrist circles. Right, then bring your attention to one of these wrists. You're going to take your palm up and use the other hand to press your hand down. So the inside of your wrist starts to get a stretch. Keeping my elbow bent, because although this feels nice, I tend to lock my elbows. And where's the emphasis? I am stretching my wrist, but my attention isn't more on my elbow when I do that. So I'm just pulling my fingers back, not just fingers, the whole hand. If you want extra juice for your fingers as well, take your other hand a little lower down and pull the fingers back. You can do that upways as well. It's better if you go upways. But don't forget, wrist as well as fingers. Wrist first. Good. And then go the other way. So you're turning your hand down, press into the big knuckles at the top of your hand, and you can just cup your wrist. It's a nice warming feeling, or cooling if your hands are cold like mine, which is not particularly pleasant. But if this was my mum, if I was helping my mum with this wrist stretch, she's got arthritis in her hands and wrists, and I used my cold hands, she would find that bliss, because it's just really nice for the joint. But for me, I like the warmth. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Switch sides. Remember, wrist first. So palm up. Use your whole hand somewhere near the palm of your hand to pull the top, inside of your hand down so that the inside of your wrist gets a good stretch. Once you've started that, you can add in the fingers, but don't lose the wrist stretch, right? So I don't like to do the finger stretch downwards. I prefer to do it back like that. You can do these weight bearing as well. I think I'll do that in a separate video. Good. It feels extra juicy on this side. It's interesting. No shooting pains, effort, significant amounts of effort to be expected. Okay, other sides, turn your hand down, push into the major knuckles with your opposite hand. Get some nice, warm, manageable stretch in there. You can cup your wrist if that feels nice. Get on with it. Just do it. Good stuff. Keep breathing. If you're doing core work, then check in. Are you still doing core work? It's not our number one priority right now, so it's not a big issue. Okay, let that go. Next, bring your elbow. Actually, before you do anything, just keep your elbows lightly tucked in and start to roll some circles with your fists, with the thumbs on the outside. Just roll these circles. Roll them, roll them, roll them, roll them. Feel into the joints. So I'm doing these fairly quickly. You can do these really slowly. We are going to slow these down in a minute into something much nicer, but do these movements. Okay, we're going to make these much more effective, right? So you've got this free movement. Look at how much my arms are moving. Forearms are rotating. Yours will be going even more than mine because I've trained this movement out a little bit. But my forearms are going round and round. And I can feel my forearm muscles because the muscles are really strong. I can feel them. There's a little tightness in the left side as well. Now, we're going to keep these elbows in. Use your right hand to just lightly hold on to your left forearm with your fist, top of the hand facing upwards. You're not going to move your forearm. You are only going to move from the wrist. So relax your elbows in and watch your hand. Only move your hand around in the wrist joint. Your wrist has some movement in it. Your hand has some movement in it. Your forearm is not moving at all. I can feel the muscles in my forearm now against my hand, and I can feel how they are motoring this movement, how they are powering this movement, which is why we want strong forearms. So some of these stretches we're going to do are going to be into forearms. The next two are very forearmy after this. Go back the other way for about 10. You can do about 10 of these and just experiment with them. You don't always have to you don't have to hold on. Once you get used to this movement, you can do these without holding on. You can do both of them at the same time. Just keep an eye on your forearm that it doesn't just happen. Okay, go over to the other side. Hold on to your forearm. Experiment with not holding on to it if you've had a bit of practice and just see. The circles are very small. So I'm doing it without moving my forearm because I'm paying close attention to this movement. There's nothing, it's all here, very small circles, and sometimes my wrist is a little confused because it wants my forearm to do the work. Go back the other way for about 10. It's clever though, isn't it? You can really feel, when I do these like this, I can really feel like it's almost like wearing a sweatband on my wrist, like a wrist warmer. It's a nice feeling. That's probably about 10, if not more. Take your arms out wide, turn the palms up, and then point your fingers as much as you can towards the floor. Draw your shoulders down and strengthen up into your shoulders. Imagine you're Spider-Man. Spread your fingers wide and shoot your webs. You know the creepy Spider-Man with the webs in the wrists, one of those. Shoot the webs out and really reach away. So firm up through your arms. Spread your fingers wide. Start to curl those fingers in very dramatically. Bring your thumbs to the outside, start to curl your fists in. You're going to give us a really amazing gun show. So curl, 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 curl in. Keep your arms elevated in line with your shoulders and give us some big bicep curls. On your exhale, keep your wrists tucked in, but open these out. Stretch them out. There'll be a gnarly bit probably, and you work through that gnarly bit or pause there for a bit and explore the feeling. At the very last moment, Open up your hands, point your fingers down, shoot your spider webs. Your shoulders should be feeling like they're working right now. Tuck your core in, curl your hands in, curl your wrists in. Yes, all right, you can call me all the names under the sun. Just keep going. We're only going to do 3 of these. Curl them in, curl them in, curl them in. Gun show. Nice. Open it up. There's a lot of tension in these arms. If you do these floppily, hey, I mean, you're here for arm strength, so you might as well do it properly, right? Reach away, nice and strong. I'm sweating. I'm not sweating because I'm cold, but internally I'm sweating. Emotionally, I'm definitely sweating right now. Feel like I'm doing myself some good. My forearms are aching. Right, I can feel the heat on that. Right, last one. Curl in, really strong biceps. Open them out. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Yeah, no avoiding. Spread those fingers wide and then come down and shake them off. Last one for you, last little thing. A little bit of a wiggle. I'm going to set my timer, flicky fingers. This is a beauty. It's going to really burn. You can swear as much as you want. I'll give you a 30-second countdown, and then we're going to do a whole minute, but you don't need to do the whole minute. You can do 30 seconds, especially if you've just started. The movement is to blink your fingers as fast as you can, spread them wide and blink them. Do not flick your hands. That's not what we're doing. It's just fingers. That's all we're doing. Prepare yourself. 3, 2, 1, go. This is a minute we're doing. I'll tell you at 30 seconds, you can stop. Go as fast as you can and just be present with this because it's an absolute bastard. It hurts, it's uncomfortable, it makes you pull faces, pull the best faces you can think of. This is the last thing we're going to do, but it's so, so good. Nothing has strengthened my hands better than this. So you can call me all the names under the sun. You will thank me, especially if you're training handstand or forearm stand. That's 30 seconds. You can stop if you're new to this. Nearly there though for the full minute. I do it a lot. You will have those gorgeous forearms. You know, I had a friend who found forearms really sexy. And yeah, you'd have really lovely, sexy, ripped forearms eventually. 10 seconds. Feels like a long time, doesn't it, when you're doing this? Keep going, keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it go. Oh my God. It's hell. It's a special form of hell. You should always worry if I'm bringing you my favorite exercises, because what that means is this going to hurt. Okay, so there you go. My favorite wrist warm-ups, the ones that really work for me. I'll do another video with the forearm work and the weight bearing work. So keep an eye out. There'll be more on wrists, shoulders and forearms and upper body. Take it easy. Bye.